This time on Roadkill Garage, it's another selection from the buffet of Steve Dulcich Mopars.
We take the motor and trans out of this truck to make that Challenger run and drive in a weekend.
Once again, benefiting no one but me.
What about me?
Don't care. I'm legitimately super stoked this is really gonna happen.
How could you not be?
I figured this was gonna be fantasy, that it would just get discussed for like 6 or 7 years.
Why?
Just because that's, you know.
The norm?
It's now Friday at, what time is it? 2:49. So basically by Sunday evening, I want to be driving this thing around.
If we have a good motor to replace the bad motor,
Oh, you know we do.
it's just a matter of pulling that baby out, dropping another one in, and boom.
So, boom.
We're done.
Okay. You may see this car as clapped out. All I see is 70 Dodge Challenger. Dulcich is pretty confident that we're gonna be running and driving by Sunday night. The problems we're gonna run into are the drive shaft. Pretty sure that the brakes are garbage on this, and I can tell you for dead certainty that the gas tank is gonna be junk.
I knew about this car a really, really long time ago. A buddy had it in his yard for at least 10 years with a thrown rod, so I ended up buying this car for 300 bucks. After I brought it home, I parked it here, and it's been sitting here for the last 15 years. I haven't touched a thing on the car. We're finally gonna get rid of that blown 318 and get that junk running.
How do you want to drag this thing out of here?
I've got air in the tires on my side.
They're really better than I expected. I'd say let's just hook up a tractor and drag it.
Well, I want to air up the tires first because these are really, really good tires, right?
Just go get the tractor. We're rolling. Look at that. Coming to life. Yep. Wow. The problem is, as soon as we get to this moment, I'm off and pretty much done. That's all I really needed.
Okay, we got to get some speed built up here.
Yep, I'm trying to steer away from the dart.
Okay, but make sure you don't hit my dart.
I know. Wait, I gotta.
In the workshop setting, doesn't it look like a totally badass muscle car?
I know, it was just junk in the weeds out there. Can we clean it up a little bit? You know, like just vacuum it out, get all the junk parts out of it.
How about if we just put a motor and trans in it and drive it to the car wash?
Okay, that's a good idea.
You love the car wash.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
See, virtually nothing has been picked off this car. It's
Except the
100%
brakes.
complete. All the accessory. Oh, wait a minute. Hold the hood up so you can get the pressure off my bolt. Yeah.
Okay, ready for the hood pile?
Hood pilot.
Are we connected? Yeah.
Not anymore.
Okay. The hood pile means doom for any car.
Yeah.
It's all over when the hood goes in the pile. Let's play. When was the last time it was registered? Survey says March of 1989. Right there. So what's our overall plan of action here?
I think you disconnect the headers, remove the tranny cooler lines, and shift linkage and transmission cross member.
All the worst jobs?
I'll get the radiator and the wiring.
This is not like butchering the truck together. I want to actually make this as reliable as we can so it's functional.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to, like, you know, overheat it the first 15 minutes we're driving it like normal.
I don't want you to destroy this thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to pick and choose from the best of the stuff from the truck versus the best of the stuff off this.
There's a lot of good stuff to pick from, though.
Over the weekend, 3 days, I don't think we have time to do much cleanup, though. I don't see us, like, painting the edge of compartment or the engine or anything. I just want it together and reliable so that it's a baseline from which to, you know, fix.
Let's get to work.
Start removing
I'll even get the jack and start lifting it up.
so that I can crawl under and disconnect everything annoying.
I thought your enthusiasm was brimming so I could get you to do all that stuff.
Well, see, I expect you to not only give me the vehicle and the location and the tools, but also fix it for me.
Get it all fixed up, running and driving?
Yeah. Haven't you noticed this whole show is degenerated to just fixing Mopars for me?
Do you want me to valet it for you, too?
I know this is like nuts to even say. I really want this to not overheat. Take the lower radiator hose off so I can watch the mess and laugh at you so that I can get back to work.
You're gonna find me getting sprayed with mucky pond water
Only comedy we've got left here. Wow, you're so brave, no tray, no nothing.
There's absolutely zero possibility that there's any liquid in this motor because the rods broke right through the water jacket.
You got your face under that?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Nothing but a shower of rust and silt.
Okay.
Wow, look at the silt.
The last registration was 89. The thing
Yeah.
has been off the road 27 years. It was only on the road 19 years.
I know.
It's been dead longer than it lived.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to be back to life for how long?
Momentarily.
Sitting in the back of my equipment yard is probably the best thing that's happened to this car because something like that would have been parted out years and years ago. Guys would strip these things to the bone, getting parts for Hemi cars and even 440 cars and stuff like that. So finding a 318 car that's completely complete like that, it's a real rarity these days. So I'm kind of happy to be working on it.
It's a mouse nest in the header collector.
Look at that. Oh, Freiburger, this is disgusting.
Hantavirus.
I'm getting out of here.
Hantavirus. We're home free.
You think so?
Completely.
I don't know. This might just get hard all of a sudden. Sorry.
I thought you said that the rod's actually hanging out the side of the block. Oh, there it is.
Because if I didn't have rods hanging out of the block, I would have been driving this car around everywhere.
That's pretty much trash unless we want to save those 1970 valve covers to put on the new motor, which I think we should.
There's probably not much else that's usable off this engine.
It's Friday night. I think we're doing pretty well. Drag this thing out of the backyard, and Dolchek is convincing me to take it over to the world's seediest coin-op car wash.
Yeah, but it has hot water.
Yeah, that's true. Now, we should do it, because this thing is scongy.
Yeah.
Then we'll be back in the morning, and it'll be time to take the engine and trans out of the truck and plop it in here. Are we going to have this thing running by tomorrow night?
We're going to be driving it around.
Really?
Yeah.
All the way?
Yes.
Okay. It's Saturday morning, and last night we actually did a pretty good job getting all of the raw dirt that was sitting around is gone, and we also got rid of the grease and things. Here's the problem, though. This is one thing I hate about the coin-op car wash. I accidentally put the wand, like, swirl mark on the side of the car.
I know, and you were expecting to restore the whole car with that car wash wand last night.
I know. I hate putting that mark in there. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
So a Comet wash would bring this thing back up to acceptable levels, I think. But,
Well, it depends on your standards. Yeah, that mark. Are you going to insist on degreasing the 360 since you cleaned the engine bay to perfection?
I can't see putting a greasy motor in this engine compartment.
I know that it's pristine and restored by your standards, right?
Yeah.
Well, you missed a spot underneath the power steering pump.
I know.
You should have moved that.
I thought you weren't going to bring that up. I know.
Am I embarrassing you here?
Yeah.
Other than that, they did a really good job, Freiburger.
So do you want to just leave the engine in the truck and degrease it outside, or pull it out of the truck and then degrease it?
Probably in the truck. That way the exhaust is hooked up and it'll keep water from getting inside the engine.
But we can't get the transmission that way.
We'll get that afterwards.
We'll just brake clean the transmission. You know what? The transmission's probably spotless. Remember the truck that we built in another episode of Roadkill Garage? And by built, I mean dragged out of the backyard and made run for no apparent reason? Well, this is the actual reason. We're gonna take that 360 small block and the 727 automatic transmission and put them both in this car. There's still some obstacles, but the motor's gonna bolt right up. Can we have a different carburetor for the Challenger?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got another 2-barrel just like it.
Can we actually start the car from inside?
No.
Okay. Dude.
Hey, don't flambe my motor. I guess it's all right. It's your motor now.
Okay. It's still burning a little. The rat turds are burning. Ready?
Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing?
Well, you got to put the fire out.
Dude, no, you don't. This will run much better in the Challenger, believe me. It'll just be happier to be in the E-body.
Yeah.
Notice how the urge to burn out never leaves you, no matter how old you are? It's just a fact of life. At the end, we have a massive victory when we get the Challenger to do a burnout. An engine barely alive. We can rebuild it. You know, people are probably asking right now why we're bothering putting this engine in the Challenger since it's obviously such garbage.
Well, no, I thought people would think we're ruining a perfectly running truck buggy.
Oh, I didn't have that take on it, but
really?
Yeah, you're right.
People might love this thing. I like it.
It's not braking. We're gonna have to go the old-fashioned way. Old-fashioned way. Everything is disconnected, except we just didn't want to go the extra mile and take off the 2 nuts that are holding the engine mounts to the frame. So we tried to tear them out with the forklift and failed.
It's not that we failed, the motor mounts passed the test.
Ah.
We can reuse those.
That's true, they are those regular biscuits. That's what winning looks like.
That's
okay?
skill right there.
Let me get some degreaser.
You see how that thing just right on out of there. Boom, just like that.
That worked great, except for me pouring ATF all down my arm. Just go for that stain release.
You're gonna wash your hands with brake?
That'll be good.
You're washing your arm with brake clean?
Well, yeah, I got it on my shirt. You gotta, like, clear the lubricant out of the cotton.
Man, you can't be wasting this stuff, dude. Freiberger's been at it for like half an hour, and I don't think he's gonna give up until that thing runs out of gas, because he knows that's probably the only chance he's gonna have at getting that thing clean, ever. The problem we're having here is one of the exhaust manifold studs broke in the head. So what we're gonna do is try to weld a nut on the remnant of the stud that's in the head. Hopefully that's gonna free it up where we can take a wrench and just spin it right on out.
What'd you catch on fire? The carburetor?
And the ground.
This needed more patina. This might be some Dulcich magic right now. That's getting it.
No, that's the nut broken.
The nut broke off. Ah.
Doesn't look like it's gonna work, guys.
Because that stud is broken, we now have no choice but to hop up this 360. We're gonna rip the cylinder heads off this thing and go pilfer your stock again.
Put on my ported big valve iron heads?
Yeah, one broken stud can lead into all of that.
It's kind of turning defeat into victory.
It is.
Right?
What it's turning the victory into, though, is a lot of hours and us probably not getting this thing running and driving down the road by tomorrow night.
I think we can still do it if we stay up all night. Almost got me.
I know, it's stuck. Oh, look at all the water in there. Cast your mind back to like us enjoying ourselves in your field with the truck. And then invite yourselves to go ahead and have a good look at those pistons. What do you see?
Valves hit pistons?
Yeah.
What makes that happen?
7,500 RPM.
Oh, yeah. No. Bad valves. Not enough valve spring, right?
How well is that going to work with those angle milled heads?
That's going to be no problem. Remember when it was backfiring through the carburetor?
Yes!
Because the valves were all bent.
Right! It's a good thing we broke off that bolt in that stud hole. Otherwise, we wouldn't have discovered this and we would have had a really lousy running 360 in our Challenger. We're going to throw on some, what, Hughes Performance ported angle milled trick iron heads now, right?
That's right. I mean, bottom line, we had to change the heads anyway.
I know. One thing that's happened here in the last few minutes is that any dedication to detailing and shine has gone completely out the window. I'm gonna do something I don't think I've ever done, which is put an engine in the car with orange heads and a blue block and grease everywhere. What Steve's doing here is an example of doing the wrong thing the right way. You really never want to put heads on if you care about them a lot with an impact wrench. You want to torque them in sequence, but you'll see he is impact wrenching them in sequence and just bringing them down to touch.
Should I go to full torque with the impact wrench?
Or
Or
shut
do you
camera off and yeah.
Yeah.
A whole thing that I'm into is don't get it right, just get it running. A car that runs and drives is way more useful and workable and motivating than a car sitting in the backyard rotting.
Yeah, I mean, it's garbage, but it's gonna be pretty good running garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that complete snafu with the engine, we're way behind schedule now, and we're gonna have to start just butchering to meet our goal of making this move under its own power by the end of the weekend. Part of that means I'm gonna have to hotwire the engine to make it run. I shouldn't be surprised that after leaving this thing sitting on a farm for 15 years, that bunnies have eaten the entire wiring harness. What odds do you place on having a functional fuel system by tomorrow?
0.
How about brakes?
None.
What are your odds on a radiator that actually we're proud of?
Proud of or functional?
Proud.
0. This is always the most exciting part.
Yeah.
Now's where we wish we took the fan off.
Yeah, down a little bit. Oh no, it's gonna drop right in. Okay, down.
My header is fantastic.
Oh, did you see that?
It installed itself.
It did.
Wow.
It wanted to go home.
Look at that.
It has the look of high performance.
All the ugliness disappeared as soon as it went in the car.
Really?
Most of the ugliness? Okay, some of the ugliness.
This is gonna be your Roadkill Garage zip tie moment. Do you remember the Cheap Thrills Dart? Way back in the early 90s, I became famous for using hose clamps to tie the extension housing of my 68 Dart to the transmission crossmember. The problem with this particular Challenger is that the bolt holes are completely stripped in the extension housing and I can't bolt the mount on. So we're gonna go to new levels with these super heavy duty zip ties and find out if they, in fact, have the power to hold a torque flight to the crossmember. Keeping in mind, of course, this is only temporary. So you can see right here how I have attached 2 zip ties together to make one longer one. That is like magic. Really, when you're tying your transmission to your crossmember with either hose clamps or zip ties, you want to create a nice X pattern to it. Wow, this is good stuff. You honestly cannot get this kind of thing on any other show. And thus ends your zip tie moment. We got burned today even by Roadkill expectations. That one broken bolt shafted us and killed a bunch of hours rebuilding the engine. We still have a lot left to do, but we're pretty burned down. I think we're gonna tinker with a few more things tonight, then get out of here and get in early tomorrow morning to live up the commitment to you to get this thing running and driving, and according to Dulcich, doing burnouts. He says by noon, I'll call midnight. I'm revitalized, Dulcich.
I know, you're in a good mood.
I'm ready to go.
Happy with your new Challenger, no doubt.
I've now abandoned the notion of full Sano restoration, and I'm at the point of we just have to do a burnout because I can't let it beat me.
No, and we will get there.
Here's the list. See if I'm missing anything. Needs carburetor, and in quotes I've got fuel system, radiator, shift linkage, ignition and starter, drive shaft is a biggie.
Yep.
Spark plugs, plug wires, the booster and master, hopefully we can get that done. Bleed the brakes, throttle cable, thermostat housing. What else?
Drive? Burnouts.
Drive it? That's
Drive it
it?
or burnouts, yeah, that's everything.
So then the question is, do we start eating the elephant at the drive shaft?
I'm going straight to the drive shaft. That's job 1 for me this morning.
That's the one?
Yeah, and it's freshly built too. I had it built for my Fifth Avenue just before I junked it.
Oh, as you know, the Fifth Avenue is on the same platform as the Challenger.
They're pretty much the same. Why don't you grab the other old one and we can size them up and see if we're in the ballpark. If this one's shorter, we might have a chance. If it's the same length or longer, then we're dead in the water. That might just be perfect.
Well, swing it in there. It's the only way to know. I really hope this fits because it's going to turn into 3 hours of debacle and further butcher the car.
We should get an old T-shirt or your jacket that I set on fire and put it underneath so it soaks up all the tranny fluid.
Why don't I just lie under it and let it soak into my back?
I'll save a whole step. See, look.
Oh, wow. That is good enough for who it's for at this moment in time.
But
wow. You knew this in advance, didn't you? There's no way that you actually just guessed this right.
This is the second one that I guessed right.
That's incredible. Wow.
That's awesome.
It's only 11 a.m. and we've handled trans-cross member, throttle cable, kickdown, and drive shaft. Plugs I can't mark off because we can't tighten those 2 back ones yet. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 easy steps to win.
9 steps?
Yeah.
I thought we were really close.
This radiator really almost meant to be zip tied in place on this car. I don't know why they still make bolts.
I'm gonna have starter engagement for inside the car. We won't even have to get out of the seats we don't have.
Okay.
Ooh, maybe we should put seats on the list.
Nah.
I didn't want to have to climb outside of the car every time it conks out and dies, which is sure to happen, so I've zip tied this wire to the remaining stub of the parking brake release. That gives me a contact point going to the starter solenoid. Just by touching the two, we're gonna have engine crank right from the driver's seat. Hey, Freiberger, look what I found.
Gas tank?
That's it. I think it'll fit. Is that good?
That's pretty good.
How's that?
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah.
balance on the valence?
Well, you'll probably have to zip tie it, but and then run a hose right there, fuel pump, and we're done.
That's really good.
I know.
How do you feel about it for when we have the carb fire?
What's a metal can, so it's like fire marshal approved.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-oh. There's no brake hose whatsoever in the front.
Really?
Yeah, I just noticed. The rabbits ate it all the way to the nub.
Really?
Yep. Oh, no way. There's no caliper here at all.
What?
No.
Nothing?
No, the whole thing's gone.
I can't conceal my lack of surprise.
Really?
You didn't notice that when you noticed the hose was gone?
No wonder it rolled so easy.
Yeah, I remember that.
I had the later model sliding calipers from another car that were off. So just by changing the caliper adapter bracket from the pin type to the sliding type here, we can use this later model caliper and it should work with the original rotors, and we've got brakes.
How about we pick a different car? We just swap the engine over right now. You want to throw it in your truck?
I thought it was in my truck.
It was in your truck. You want to put it back?
Can we?
Everything's done except for the car being down on the ground, and we're ready to fire this thing up for the first time. What he's doing now is filling the float bowls of the carburetor with gas, because when you do that, you want to be able to spill the gasoline down over here so that when it backfires, the whole thing flames on.
Is that why I'm doing it?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
That carburetor garbage?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh. What are you gonna do?
Get another carburetor.
You're kidding, right? I think Dulcich said something about doing burnouts at noon. That's closer to midnight than noon. This has been on fire.
No, it hasn't. Well, they've all been on fire. Did you watch the show? This is what's going to make it all worthwhile.
Yep. The rear float bowl is a mess.
Really?
Maybe it's because it's like just completely loose. And so's the front one, finger tight.
Well, I didn't want to over-torque them.
Well, the third carb's the charm. Thing is, the value of everything from here up exceeds the value of everything from here down. That carburetor is now, like, by far the most expensive thing we've ever touched on Roadkill Garage.
Ow!
Oh! Do I need to go get the Excalibur? There we go. Yeah! You're good. Okay. Well, there you go. We promised that it would run and drive, and there you have it. That is a wrap on this episode of Roadkill Garage. Kidding! Wow, good distance. 2 tires, 7 1/4 power. That's the rear end of choice.
I know. Look at that.
Oh, dude! Yeah! Wow, I feel full-on vanishing point right now. Actually, it's more like Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, but
Yeah.
still, I feel good. I feel like a Mopar movie star.
It's pretty luxurious, too.
Out of gas. Our 1 gallon gas tank didn't last very long.
What kind of mileage do we get?
1.
So there you have it. From junkyard to asphalt.
You called your backyard a junkyard?
From equipment yard to the street in 2 days.
2.5.
Well, yeah.
We're not that good.
Yeah.
But we will be on the next episode of Roadkill Garage.
With the jump.